go here. They are back at the house of the doctor lady. One with the gravelly voice. Or gravelly. Okay, so okay, Royal. So, you live in a small tiny house with no food. It's not that bad. Yoki's home is comfortable, and the fridge is not empty. I thought you were living in a villa, not this run-down place. Well, what did baguettes, cornbread, chicken casserole? Or casserole? That's not what I mean. You don't really understand how these bodies work, do you? We're not wealthy anymore. You should be happy to even have a roof over your head. I'm sure we'll have a nice inheritance waiting for us. Speaking of which, we should look into that later. Well, oh shit. Your parents died and you just think, oh, inheritance. I lightly hit Roy on the shoulder, crossing my arms. Whatever. We can build our own fortune up, right, Juju? Before I can answer, she walked through the door with a bag of goodies. Hi, JUNORU. Hi, JUNORU. I got off work early today. That's Roy, huh? How did you run into him? I haven't seen him since that day. I was taking a stroll and I ran into them earlier by coincidence. Can you stay here with us? Of course. I looked all over for him myself, but there never any luck. It's an honor to be your guest. A minute ago, you said the house was dirt. Roy covered my mouth. Before I could finish the sentence, and flashed an innocent smile at our host. Your name is Yoki, right? Roy? I assume you know our identity. Oh, that's right. I'm sorry I couldn't help you more back then. Anyway, let me show you to your room. Now, I want to stay with Gigi. My brother clung to me like a panda bear, pouting. We did not need to spend every single second together. But we've been separated for so long. We need to spend more time together. Sometimes, I wonder which of us is the older one. Yoki brought us to our rooms and asked if we wanted anything to eat. I ate before I came here. Oh, that's too bad. This is very delicious. I stared on as Yoki took a bite of her cheese bread. I was practically drooling. Are you hungry? Trying to give her a gravelly voice. I thought there was going to be a man talking, but oh well. Are you hungry? I brought some. Okay, there it is. I brought something here for you too. She tossed me a bottle with dark liquids inside. I put it aside and shook my head with a frown. I told you, I dislike that stuff, and I'd rather not have red too. My brother patted me on my shoulder and left the room after. Meanwhile, Yoki, she stared at me with the awkward silence fell between us. I snatched the bread from her hand and took a bite. Ah! I reached for my stomach and started coughing frantically. The pain racking my body was even worse than last time I tried to eat. Yuki ran to me. As tears started rolling up in my eyes, I dropped the bread, barely resisting the urge to hurl. "JUNORU, what's wrong?" And my stomach hurts a bit. "I'll be fine." She let me go and after I forced a smile. Next night I could not fall asleep, no matter how hard I tried. I hope turning into a zombie does not mean I have to stay awake forever. I assumed zombies were immune to pain, but I was wrong. My entire body was burning up. Is this because of that bite wound that got infected? I touched my arm to find that the injury was healing properly. I lay on my side when the pain filled my chest, my finger clutching the blanket as I broke out in a cold sweat. My eyes landed on the bottle Yokishi had given me earlier. The contents were tempting, but I did my best to resist. Suddenly heard footsteps in the hallway and stood out of curiosity. I was strong enough to walk, although I felt weak. Ooh, someone's breaking in. Oh, never mind. When I peeked into the hall, I found Roya sneaking around in the dark. "Where are you going this way?" You scared me." "I'm just going out for some fresh air. Don't let Yoki know about this, okay?" "I know you're lying. Tell me the truth." "I'm going to take care of my traitors. If you want, you can come along. It'd be easier with the two of us. I do not think I can be much help." You ignore my words, pulling me along anyway. The streets were frightening in the darkness. It did not help that my parents had always warned us not to go outside at night, as the village was dangerous. Roya did not seem to mind in the slightest. However, I tightly clutched to his arm and remained on guard, ready for anything to happen. "Relax, bro. When I'm with you, there's nothing to be scared of. We're only children. We're not adults. And we do not have godly powers. We do have power, though. We do have power, though. We're stronger than other zombies." How did you know that? A few have tried to attack me over the past week, and they were completely different from us. Their bodies rot and they can barely think. It was disgusting. He shook his head, shivering at the recollection. "Good thing that they're easy to deal with. Let's call them Solid. That would be a fitting name, I guess. I was also attacked by a few who were smarter too. They weren't as smart as humans though. Kind of animalistic. They're a bunch of idiots. So let's call them the Brainless. There was this other zombie. It described that other human attacked me when we were alone. It was a pain in the butt to deal with. Wow, you have gone through a lot this past days. You should call that last type the fake since they disguise themselves. That's a perfect name. Raya, where do we belong? I don't think we fit in any of the standard categories. We can call ourselves the Masters. No, wait, the Eli. Should we not be fake if we're disguising ourselves as human? Nope, you're wrong, Juju. We have something they don't. I punched a nearby pole, causing the metal to bend. Oh shit. We have incredible strength, and our bodies can regenerate if we eat humans. Yeah, I have the power to. Try it. I swung my fist at the pole with no avail. There was only a pitiful sound of my bones cracking. Oh, I broke my hand. Why are you crying when you can't even feel pain? After a few short seconds, the scratches on my knuckles began to scab. Wow, that's something new. Huh? Oh wait, well that's something new. I think we have different powers. Looks like you have a healing ability. It's not that great if eating will heal me anyway. I thought you were afraid to eat humans. Well, I can still eat normal food. It just hurts a lot. Maybe I should try it too. Will you be able to withstand it? I hear something coming. I think I saw that woman on the night of our house that was attacked. Pretend we're lost, okay? I whispered in the affirmative. We patiently waited for the woman to approach us. What are you boys doing out here in the middle of the night? I can't put my mommy and daddy. Can you please help us, ma'am? Of course, my dear. Let's go to my house so we can call your parents. I'll give you some milk and cookies while you wait for them. Oh no, that woman's innocent, I think. The woman took us both by the hand and gave a friendly smile. Maybe Corey's. I don't know. We entered a small cozy home and we were led into the living room, Laura and I still putting on our innocent facade. Wait right here. I'm going to get those treats for you. When the woman was out of reach, I sighed in relief. This is what you have been doing this entire time? Letting strangers lure you into their homes? Sometimes, I'm kidnapped straight off the street. Brother, don't worry about me. I actually think it's pretty fun to give those peasants their dessert. The woman returned with a disappointed expression, although she maintained her aura of friendliness. Sorry, boys. There was no milk and cookies left. Scam. Hello. Okay, it might be really delayed. I'm sorry. I'm sorry about that. There's no milk and cookies left, but I brought you something else instead. She slowly walked over closer before grabbing Royal by the arm and injected him with some sort of needle. Jam! Pain won't work on me. Are you sure about that, Royal Kaniji? Don't tell me you are one of the researchers. The woman removed her long wig and Roya's eyes widened in shock. You were the one that saved me at the mansion. Even if the masterminds are dead, I'm glad I still have 2 test subjects to work on. We need to get out of here. She knows too much about us. Before Roya could take a step, he collapsed on the floor. Oh, the drug finally took effect. Sweet dreams, Royal Henry. What happened? Wake up! Don't waste your breath. I developed this drug especially for you monsters, so you won't wake up anytime soon. The woman walked towards me, and with a menacing smirk. I tried to pull Roya's body along before I could get anywhere. I was caught. I shivered at the sight of the laboratory-like room we were brought into. What are you going to do with us? I'm not going to kill you, if that's what you're worried about. Woo! Oh, shit. She left Roya on the couch before binding me to the examination table. I might not have gotten my hands on the serum, but I have test subjects who've used it. It's even better. We are only children, not human ones, so I don't care. I started to wonder what sort of people were interested in immortality serum. They were all sick and twisted as her. The woman laughed and walked towards me with a scalpel in hand, humming an unfamiliar melody as she rolled up my sleeve. From the greed and gleam in her eyes, she knew she would not hold back. I have to wonder why you look so normal compared to those other piece of rotten meat. I can't wait to find out what the secret ingredient is and how much your body can endure. Scalpel pierced through my arm and dug in wildly, no method to this madness. In my panic, I begged the woman to stop. To my surprise, she obliged, taking a moment to study the room. My mind is healed so fast. I've never seen this before. I thought you could only heal up after eating humans. She resumed stabbing at me, sheer excitement shimmering in her eyes. Trigger warning, I'm sorry, this is horrible, this lady's horrible. Despite not feeling any pain, the experience was nothing less horrible. Stop it already! I don't like this. Oh, you stopped healing? It seems like there's a limit. She put the bloody scalpel away and walked over to grab another tool. I was relieved that I had a moment to breathe, even though my arms were shredded to pieces. I can't believe I can survive with this body and this thing. It's nice to know I have a special ability, but there's truly a limit. Oh shit, there's an axe! Lady, you crazy! My wrists were bloody from struggling to escape. By the time this woman returned with the axe, oh no! Trigger warning! Trigger warning! I wonder if your limbs will grow back if I detach them. I scrummed around in a panic, searching for any way out of it. I noticed the keys to the restraint on a nearby table. If only I could reach them. Oh, is Roy gonna wake up and just bite her? As if granting my wish, the keys suddenly moved on their own, floating towards me, then freeing me. As the woman moved closer to tighten my arm restraints, I kicked the weapon out of her hands. When the axe landed on the ground, it started moving on its own, then began to hack away at her from her feet down. I closed my eyes, shutting out the sight of the bloodbath. When the screams and cries faded away, I cautiously peeked through the gaps of my finger. Blood was all over the floor and walls. A few seconds later, the axe finally stopped moving, returned to a lifeless object. What did I do? Did the object move to my free will? Either way, I need to get out of here. I slowly crawled off the table in search of something to bandage my arm. I certainly did not want to walk around in public with this visible. I tried to use my newfound ability to bandage myself, but it did not work out very well. Next, I tried to use it to open the cabinet door. Instead, I was simply pulled towards it. I suppose I need more training. I do not think I can manipulate things that are heavier than myself. Oh, that's right, Roya! I hurried to my brother and inspected him. Thankfully, he only seemed to be unconscious. I was so worried. With Roya on my back, I headed back to Yokishi's house, praying that she had not noticed that we had already left. But how will I explain Roya's condition, or my own for that matter? I immediately noticed the doors and windows had all been damaged, as if there was a break-in. She was not in her bed. Oh, they took her. They took her. She was not in her bedroom, so I continued looking until I found her at the other end of the house. I called out to her and she slowly turned around. Oh no! However, she had a large, profusely bleeding bite wound nearby. There was a childlike zombie who I presumed was the culprit. I laid her down on the floor before dashing towards the enemy and knocking them onto the ground. Thank you for saving me, General. I tried to hold them off, but I mistook that child for you and let my guard down. I'm so sorry I left. This is not my fault. Why do you look so sad? You're bleeding very badly. What are you saying? What are you saying? This is nothing. Yokishi gently wiped my tears away and smiled. Can I ask for a favor? Of course, anything. No. Okay. Can you put me out of my misery? I believe after being bitten by one, I also become one of those mindless zombies. When I die, please prevent that from happening, General. I'm sorry for putting a heavy burden on you. What the fuck are you doing? No matter what happens, don't cry. Promise me. She took a letter out of her pocket and pointed at a nearby bottle. Emptied it over my jacket, then light it with this. I nodded, trembling. I firmly held Yokishi's hand. She closed her eyes and her body became heavy in my arms. If this is our last wish, it is the least I can do. My eyes were damp, my hands were trembling, but I held the lighter firmly as I draped the coat over the corpse. The smoky scent filled the room, and the liquid burst to flame. I fell back in surprise. Hungry. In my days, the zombie child had knocked down before I stood up and was staring at me with his hungry eyes. Behind them, I noticed even more zombies were creeping in through the hallway. Suddenly, I realized there was no time to mourn. I grabbed Raya once more and dashed out of the house, heading towards the mansion. It was the only place that I could think of. It was the first time I was ever truly alone. There was no one to look after me, and it felt lonely. Dave! Back. What should I do now, Roya? What should I do now, Roya? Wait until people... Oh wait, what should I do now, Roya? Wait until the people come to find me? Or should I go after them first like you did? I'm not as strong as you, though. I laid Roya on one of the beds, and I curled up next to him. I could not even tell if he was asleep or dead, because he never had a pulse. Before I knew it, the sun had risen. It was already daytime. Over the next days, I cleaned up the mansion. I had always disliked messiness. More than that, I could not stand the reminders of what had taken place. It took a few weeks for me to get things to satisfactory level, but Roya still had not awoken. Over the course of tidying up, I found a few dollars that I planned to use to buy food, and I was thankful that not all of our clothing had been stolen in the disaster. Wearing an oversized coat I found in my father's room, I snuck into the village to go shopping. When I returned, I found Roya sitting up on the bed. I ran over to him with open arms. Isn't that Dad's coat? I'm so glad you're awake. I missed you so much. I was asleep that long. It had been a few weeks. That crazy woman drugged you, remember? I'm right. Man, I'm so thirsty. Do you have any water? Yeah, take this. Thanks, little bro. Anyway, tell me what happened while I was out. I recounted how I managed to escape and what had happened to Yokishi. That's too bad. The lady seemed nice and was probably one of the only people actually on our side. We should start looking for allies. Can you think of anyone? Yeah, there's none. We just need to focus on taking down our enemies. Hey, can I have a piece of that cake? I'm starving right now. Are you sure you can handle it? What are you talking about? Tasty. You sure know how to pick them. I kept an eye on Roya as he ate. There seems not to be any problem. When Once he finished the slice, he reached for another. Ack! His face abruptly contorted in pain, and he fell backwards on the mattress. It hurts so much. That's part of the healing process. I experienced the same thing. Please bear with it. It feels like I'm being torn apart. Inside, I need to. My brother fell off the bed and tried to crawl back up, so I tried to help him. I need to get it out of my stomach. How would you do? I frighteningly peered around, but could not think of anything. In those few seconds, Roya passed out on the floor. Many thoughts. Many thoughts crossed my mind, but one stuck with me as Dad's memory of Dad's study. I left the room and headed to the library in the basement. I searched in Dad's desk and took any documents I could find. I could not understand the contents, but perhaps Roya could. Once I returned, I found Roya awake. He looked better compared to before. Where did you go? I studied. I wanted to see if there was anything that could help you, but I only found these research papers. If you're already feeling better, maybe we can read them together. No need. I already figured out their research out. But I like to take his work with him, you know? Sometimes I help him organize the papers. Roy shared everything he knew. Apparently, the village had been struck by a strange illness. The citizen believed it was because of a demon had cursed them all, but our parents had not lost hope. They researched the illness, and when they discovered a zombie, they captured it and used its unique control competition to manufacture a cure for the villagers' illness. They had gotten the idea when they heard about the zombie had been afflicted by the sickness when they were still alive. During their research, they accidentally created a serum that could stop aging process. They thought they were on the right track, so they tried to perfect it, but it went nowhere. They abandoned the project, started over. However, some on the team wanted to continue the research. Mother and father refused to leave the project in those people's hands and fired them. It was after the incident that the rumors about our family began to spread amongst the villagers. Of course, there was still many who supported what they were doing, especially ill. Roy suddenly stopped talking and watching me as I took a bite of my sandwich. How can you stand eating normal food? I thought I was going to die until I threw that cake up. You can take a little pain, can you not? A little pain in my butt. It made my injuries worse. We drank the same serum. Why are we so different? He had two, you had one. Remember? Maybe it's, yeah, like you said. He had two and you had one. Maybe it's because you drank two bottles instead of one. I remember hearing that different doses of medicines can result different outcomes. Oh, that might be it. Why did you even drink two in the beginning? It was an emergency. Why did you drink yours? For the same reason. You hypocrite. What are we going to do now? The villagers will not forget about us anytime soon. We kill off everyone who betrayed us. But can we not end this peacefully by telling them the truth? Roy let out a heavy sigh and rubbed his face exasperatedly. How can you be so naive after everything we've experienced? other way. No, there isn't, and if you aren't gonna help me, I'll do it alone. I will stop you. Are you kidding me? You aren't half as strong as I am. I focused my attention on the pillow behind Royal and it started moving like I wanted it to. When it collided with Royal's back, he yelped and jumped up. What the heck? Using intelligence against me? I'll get you back for this. Woo! He just went flying. I panicked when Royal reached out to me. Before I knew what was happening, I flew up to the ceiling and was left staring down at my brother. I didn't touch you. Since when can you fly? I'm not I began falling, but Roy caught me before I hit the ground with one arm. He helped me stand right up. Tears gathered around my eyes as I gasped for air. You can stick yourself to stuff, huh? What a dumb coward. It will be very useful once I have more control over it. Which reminds me, you should get used to your new body. Even though you don't feel pain, you should still be aware of your surroundings. If you aren't, you'll get stabbed and never even notice it. I will take care of myself. The decades passed. Somehow we were able to hide any signs of our presence within the mansion and our identities. Around that time, our wanted posters disappeared from the street, and the rumors of the cursed Kensworth family began to spread. I took a sip of my tea while I browsed the newspaper. A report of a local kidnapping caught my eyes. Juju, are you wearing Mom's earrings? Yes, I found it. Yes, I found it while I was cleaning the room earlier. It actually suits you. Seeing you act kindly is rather frightening. I'm just in a good mood. Can't I be happy once in a while? Tell me, what are you up to? Rose stole the newspaper from my hand and pointed at the article I'd been looking at. I instantly frowned. I think this guy used to be the leader of Dad's research team. Meaning the guy should have a list with all the other team members' names. Roya, it has been a decade. We should forgive. Look how those people turned out. This one became a kidnapper. Then there's this woman who drugged me. And I grabbed the newspaper back from Roya and flipped it to the next page. I'm tired of revenge. I have already dealt with worse people. I am much more worried about the fact that the zombies have multiplied because of their experiments. My brother lowered his head, his hands trembling. Then suddenly he grabbed me by the collar. Did you forget what they did to us? They betrayed our parents, killed them, and tried to do the same to us. Don't you tell me you have forgiven them. I suddenly met Roya's gaze. Like I said, I knew how he felt. The fire within him had only grown stronger since that day. When I placed my hand on top of his, he let me go. I'm sorry. I know this isn't your fault. But I'm doing this for your sake too, as as long as those people are still around, we aren't safe. Roya ruffled his own hair in frustration before heading out down the hall, leaving me alone once more. I took another sip of my tea, but it tasted salty. I brushed my cheek and felt the dampness of a teardrop. I had not realized I was crying. My chest began to ache, even though I could not feel physical pain, it still hurt. My brother had not been at the scene where my mother and father were killed. He did not know how they had died. I knew telling him would only further his fuel and his anger. Jace, I hope you had told me the truth. I pray Mother is resting peacefully in heaven. Father, I wonder how you're doing. I've heard awful stories about hell. Even if you cannot be together in death, I hope you find peace knowing that your graves are together. I miss you very much. I closed my eyes and fell in a dreamless slumber. Then wake up. Oh shit, he's bloody! Shit! Roy shook my body and rubbed my eyes, only half realizing it was a nightmare. Roy wore an expression of panic. The last time I seen him like this was years ago. My eyes trailed down and I noticed blood spilling out of several fresh gunshot wounds on him. We should hide in the basement. They're hunters. They're trained to kill every living dead. They might even know about this. The nearby flower pot was shattered into pieces. I thought a place like this would be a perfect hiding spot. I finally found you. I could have sworn I caught you in jolts or in the joints earlier though. Who's the other one? A living dead too. Be careful, she's strong. I was caught off guard when something pierced my leg. Glancing down, I realized I had been shot. I have a bad habit of talking too much. 2 against 1, huh? I guess the blonde one's power, but I'm so glad the other one seems weak. Ray pushed me aside at the crack of another gunshot, taking in the bullet in his shoulder. Rather than being afraid of the woman, I was terrified to lose my brother. We could run, but that would certainly be useless against the experienced hunter. Not to mention she could still attack us from a long distance. Either way, Roya appeared to be too wounded to do anything. It was my duty to protect him. I concentrated on my thoughts on the furniture and hurled them at the woman telling the excuse I used her momentarily shocked to create an opening. I dashed closer to her and grabbed her gun out of her hand. Get away from her! It was too late for me to react. The woman smirked as she stared into my eyes. Oh no, that's not the woman! That's Chain! You two are pretty rare. As far as the living dead go, I wish I could take you both in one piece, but you've given me no other choice. I'll try to be gentle with you, so don't give me any trouble. Sweet dreams. I followed the woman's gaze to find a dart stabbed into my chest. I stepped backwards and pulled it out. I could already feel my body burning as it fought against one of the drugs I'd been injected with. When I turned around, I saw Royal had already passed out. I figured he might have been drunk earlier. As the woman pulled another gun from her holster, I sent every inanimate object in the room flying in a random direction. I hoisted Royal onto my back and rushed towards the basement, carefully continuing my attack while I fled. My body was already slowing down as if I was gradually falling asleep, but I blindly brushed my fingers against the wall until I heard something click open. When I stepped past the entryway, I heard footsteps come down the hallway. I swiftly shut the door behind us and locked us. She should not be able to get in. I'm so tired. JUNORU closes the photo album. Okay, let's save. Okay. JUNORU closed the photo album and leaned back against the couch. What happened after that? Well, I woke up. I realized a century had passed. Royal woke a few years after that. Oh my goodness, were you okay? Of course. After all, I'm here before you. I can't imagine how it feels to sleep for so long. Yeah. Thank you for telling me about your past. JUNORU nervously rubs his face. But we got a bit. I'm sorry you've gone from so much. I'm sorry you had to go through so much. It sounded so painful. It is difficult to live with when people you care about die, one after the other. It is. You're not alone. I wrap my arms around JUNORU, gently embracing him. As he pulls away, he gazes straight into my eyes. Thinking about it, I should have not hidden this so long. JUNORU's head falls in shame. I take his hand in mine. It is all in the past, and it wasn't your fault. You don't need to feel guilty forever. If you need someone to forgive you, then I will. He slowly looks up, smiling weakly. Sky, your empath continues to surprise me. I gently feel better now that I've told you the entire story. I didn't expect so much scientific research behind the supernatural. Now I understand more about the current situation. Speaking of science, my parents were always into it. Perhaps I can look into in their research history. That would be a great help. Thank you for considering. It's all thanks to your story that gave me a lead. I reached for my cup and realized it was empty. Ah, would you like another cup of tea? Yes, please. He quickly returns with tea and snacks. It seemed like he's always well prepared for my visits. Why do you have snacks when you can't even eat them? I sometimes force myself to consume them. Doesn't that cause you immense pain? Yes, but I want my injuries to heal properly, and it makes me look healthier. The man blushes, nervously rubbing the back of his neck. While we enjoyed the tea, I shared my own past with JUNORU. Although it's not as exciting as his, probably shouldn't be saying it like that. maybe traumatizing, that fits it more. He still seems intrigued by it. I always lose track of time when I'm with JUNORU. I barely remember to head home before nightfall. Escape. You never skipped class, guy. I was worried about you. Ikuya practically barged in after dinner, both upset and relieved to see I'm alright. I wasn't feeling well, but don't worry, I'm okay now. Why didn't you call me? Why didn't you call me? I could have brought something to make you feel better. Ikuya tilts her head and looks at me from a different angle. I do not like to admit it, but my secrets have become so overwhelming that I had avoided talking to Ikuya completely. The one detail, however, I can no longer hold back from my best friend Joe be telling the secret he told you in private. To be honest, it's someone I'm interested in. Ikuya looks at me with sparkling eyes, excited to hear all the detail. Do you like him? I didn't like him? Or like him? I don't know. I've been feeling happier around him lately. Oh my gosh, it finally happened. You're in love. How long have you been secretly dating? Ikuya, it's not like that. We're just friends. Then ask him out. It's a bit complicated. That's what they all say. But what matters the most is how you feel. Just describe it in one sentence. Fine, I like him, okay? I know you're just not the lovey-dovey type, but your feelings are important. When are you going to tell him? I rest my arms on the table, shaking my head. I don't think he feels the same. Wanting more from our friendship would be selfish, so it's best to keep things the way they are. Besides, he's already got enough on his mind. I don't want to add more to his plate. It's just like you to put someone's feelings above your sky. Try to look at it from his point of view, though. What if he feels the same, but is also worried about burdening you? If neither of you are ever saying anything, this could turn into such a sad story. I don't know. You shouldn't regret telling the truth, even if it makes things more difficult. She grins and leans into a hug my arms. Her words get to me thinking. Sometimes I'm unable to bear the consequences of my actions, but I would rather the choice than regret missing the opportunity. In my current state, the best I can do is wait for the right time. By the way, can I stay here for the night, please? My brother has gone for a while, and I don't want to be home alone. Oh, is that why you're really here then? I don't mind if you stay. Have you told him, though? Of course, we talk to each other all the time. Anyway, if your crush comes by, I'll get a chance to meet him. This will be even more fun than I hope. And stop it. Don't get your hopes up high, and then he comes. You're getting all flustered. Knock, knock, knock. We chit-chat late into the night. Finally, I led her to the guest room and head to bed myself. Even after lying in bed, however, I have a hard time sleeping. Maybe because of what Ikuya says, I cannot get JUNORU out of my mind. Some of his words flashed through my mind. Flashback! What if someone was only living for the sake of being alive, unable to enrich the lives around them? What is the purpose of an existence that only brings disaster? You're quickly becoming a guilty pleasure of mine, Miss Sky. No matter what happens, you will always return with a smile. I am with you now. There's no need to be scared. General, how have you been? Happier since we first met? I feel like your sadness is starting to fade. A knock from the window caused me to jump. Dawn, 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 he's here. Annoyed, I shoved the curtains aside. That's the last time someone visited me like this would change what? I find myself face to face with Blaze, who already opened the window halfway. I forgot about him. He gestures for me to stay quiet as he slides the glass open even further and lets himself in. Oh no, Ikura is gonna come in and be like, oh, she likes you, and make things worse. What? I'm confused. I know this isn't bad timing, but I wanted to talk to you. What's so important that you had to sneak through my window in the middle of the night? Don't, he has a crush. I'll keep it simple. You need to stay away from JUNORU. Tell me something I don't know. Everyone in this village seems to have a vendetta against him. Haven't you figured it out now? JUNORU is the cause of the living dead. There's no proof that he killed those people. I didn't say that, you know. After his awakening, the living dead went mad. His mere existence agitates and attracts them because he carries the trace of a substance they instinctively need to cure themselves and survive. Jace told me himself that he hardly knows anything about JUNORU anymore. In fact, I know a lot more about him than either of you do. Blaze glares at me, anger and disbelief burning in his eyes. I clench my fist and stare back at him. I do not want to ask, but I have a bad feeling about where our conversation is leading. Blaze, what are you planning to do with JUNORU? Oh, he's not. Jace is. A faint hint of sadness crosses his face. I waited for an answer, but he turns away without responding. Jace told me you let JUNORU go before. Have you changed your mind? A soft sigh emerges from his body as he begins pacing around the room. His back is still turned to me when he finally speaks in a low tone. He's dead. I'm giving you a piece of advice so you won't get hurt. You won't forgive me what I'm planning to do anyway. The less attached you are, the less you'll suffer. This is the last thing I want to spread grief and sadness, but I simply can't be avoided for the greater good. The last of his words slow into a soft mumble as he steadily loses his train of thought. I can see an invisible weight on his shoulder. Slowly I reached out to him. If there's anything I can do, tell me. Yeah, she came in. I predicted it. At this moment, the door of my room swings open. We both look at the sleepy face Ikura. Ikura? I heard voices. Who are you talking to, Sky? Oh, he didn't tell me about the second guest. Alright, sorry for wakening you. She rubs her eyes, takes another look at Bryce, and the second passed before a knowing grin spreads across her face. Good night, Blaze and Sky. Don't mind me, just keep going. She slides out of my room and softly closes the door. Her footsteps are so quiet I can barely hear them. As she returns to the guest room, remaining awkward silence after she leaves. Finally, Blaze lets out a sigh and turns to me. As I was saying, cut your ties with JUNORU. He is worth it. His presence will only continue to cause more damage. This hasn't changed. Besides, he is a dead man to begin with. Memories of JUNORU flash through my mind as if to protest the very idea. I clench my fist in a rage of bubble. Within me, I cannot hold back any longer. After you destroyed his family and his home, even after you tried to send him to hell, he's shown the village nothing but kindness. Maybe you didn't have a choice to leave him alone all those years, but you have a choice now. Blaze closes his eyes as I speak. He does not say a word in response to my outburst. If you have nothing more to say, go home. He stuffs his hands in his pockets and proceeds to leave. Before he closes the door, he speaks in a soft voice. Let me know if you have an actual solution for handling the living dead. Good night. Goodbye. The next day, Ikuya and I walked to school together. Hey, why was it so quiet last night? I expected something more. Oh my god, you perp. I found him focused on the road ahead. Nothing is going on. We just had a discussion. If anything else, I would have told you. Something seems to be on your mind. Tell me, Sky. Ikuya pats my shoulder and leans closer to me. Being the caring friend she is, I decided I cannot leave her in the dark. The situation is a bit complicated, but I'll try to explain. It's about JUNORU. You're good at guessing. We've been best friends long enough for me to understand you without needing any words. You're worried about him, aren't you? I nod slowly. I slid my hands into my pocket. If he is in a tough spot, keep giving him your support, no matter what the other people think. The most important thing is to listen what he wants. If he's happy, it will put you at ease too, right? Yeah, but what if his decision is to sacrifice his own happiness? Then he should consider the consequences in the long run. Ikuya tilts her head slightly and rubs her chin in more thought. Would you be able to live with that? With what he chooses? Don't forget about yourself in the picture. I will need to talk to him. Thank you, Ikuya. Today I see Jace attending class without Blaze. His brother is nowhere to be seen. Between classes, Jace politely steps away from the other students, looking to converse with him. Unlike his brother, he's quite popular, but he seems to prefer being alone as much as possible. Well, this actually makes sense. Makes it easier to confront him. Jace watches a student passing by in the hallway. When I approach him, he looks up in surprise. Yo, Sky, is something up? I was wondering where your brother is. He's not feeling well today. Do I need to pass on a message? He came to my place last night. I didn't think he'd get sick after that. Jace frowns and scratches the back of his head. Suddenly he stands up and nudges me towards a quieter place. I follow him. Yeah? Sorry. I don't like to talk about these things in the open. There's an empty classroom across the hall. Why don't we chat over there? So let me guess. He told you what our plan with JUNORU. Well, he was kind of vague about it. We decided to end things with JUNORU. You know how the changes in this village. It's getting worse too. Blaze and I can't attend school together because one of us has to constantly monitor the living dead situation in village. Why did the two of you transfer to this school in the first place? For various reasons. We wanted to observe our target and you. Lies writing in surprise. Jay chuckles at my reaction. Before waving his words off as a joke. Students are easy victims because most of you are self-driven. It's a lot easier to protect people by being near them, you know. I've never been safe in your presence. Definitely, Sky. If people knew our intention, we might cause a panic. But aside from that, we need a change of pace. Years of interacting with just one person becomes boring, you know? Just gazes at me for a moment as Galadrin in my response. I said my bit, so tell me, what did you really want to talk about? When you said you were going to end things with JUNORU, you're not actually planning on to kill him, right? For now, no. Blaze has trouble making up his mind lately. If the decision was in my hand, JUNORU would have been buried long ago. Sorry, that might have been too much for you. My brother's the only one I have left. JUNORU may have been our friends, but things change. People change. I don't like living in the past anymore, but Blaze is still suffering. The whole thing would be over if he just make up his mind. Have you guys talked to it with JUNORU? Jace chuckles at my question, crosses his arm. He leans towards me, his eyes filled with curiosity. Why do you think he's been avoiding us? Exactly. Not even forgiveness can erase the trauma of past events. I think the conversation with Jace leaves a tight feeling in my chest. I returned to the classroom shortly after. Actually taking notes in class, concentrating on every word from the teacher, keeps me from worrying. I don't know when the twins will take action, but there isn't much time left. I need to talk to JUNORU as soon as possible. Perhaps he already knows. Will he just accept his fate? It's bubbling. It is raining. I gaze up at the overcast sky. The weather seems to match my mood. Not long before I make it to the mansion, the whole vibe of it changed since I first saw it. Brighter, but somehow lonelier. When I reached the entrance, I noticed the door is left open. I let myself in. No, he's dead. Hey, Drew, I hope you don't mind that I came in. No answer. Perhaps he did not hear me. No. He's dead. Perhaps he did not hear me. I should look around. His room is the first place that comes to mind. Even though I have been here before, I cannot remember exactly where it is. All the doors look the same. I counted the doors and try to guess his room locations. I stopped at a random door and opened it. Blood. A room is covered in blood greets me. Alarmed, I tried to analyze the situation. Judging by the color, the blood is still fresh. I look around the hallways for further clues about what happened. There are none. Whoever or whatever caused this did not pass through here. I entered the bloody room and moved towards the window. The edges of broken glass are smeared with blood. If any of the blood is from JUNORU, oh no, am I too late? No, don't jump to conclusion. I need to investigate further. I heard the room, check one next to it. All of them were completely destroyed, as if the beast roamed through. The more destruction I find, the more color drains from my face. JUNORU, where are you? Just before I leave the room, I cut to the sight of a small box, half buried under all the mess. I've seen this box before. Its opening mechanism is JUNORU described. It must be. Carefully picked it up, the box, and searched through the button that opens to it. To my surprise, the bottle is still inside. This is undoubtedly Kendra's heirloom, their potion of mortality. My continued search eventually leads me to the library. I walked past the shelves but could not find whom I'm looking for. As I head upstairs, I bumped into Ryoji. Hey, what brings you here? I'm looking for someone. Have you seen a tall guy with dark hair and golden eyes wearing a dark blue uniform? Nope, I haven't been paying attention to the people who pass by. Thanks anyway. I turn to leave, but Ryoji puts his hand on my shoulder to stop me. Hey, just a heads up. The police has asked the school to close for at least a week. The teachers will probably announce it soon. I might as well tell you first. What? Why? As I heard it, the new evidence the police found strongly suggests that the murderer is one of the students, so they need to investigate the premises and carry out interrogations. Our entire school student body is exactly small group of people. Suspect, interrogate all of them, possibly leads, will probably take ages. What else do you know? Guy, I know you care about the village as much as I do, but it's dangerous for you to involve yourself and suspicious. Your track record of violent outbursts at school doesn't exactly help. You know I never hurt an innocent person. Well, I know what kind of person you are. The police don't. Skipping class, nosy around fresh crime scenes. You need to be more careful. DOG, I know it doesn't look great, but and I know it's dangerous, but I can't stand by while the people get hurt. Yeah, I know. I'll tell you what, Sky. If any more details about what's happened here comes to light, I'll let you know whatever I hear. Just don't do anything rash. I smiled at him gratefully, and he leaves the library. My thoughts return to what Blaze told me yesterday. Is it possible that Chase lied about them not pursuing JUNORU? Well, the investigator discovers something about JUNORU, or what twins may have done with him. I'm sure Ryoji would tell me. There's nothing more. There's nothing here. I should head home before it gets too late. I entered the living room and stared at my couch. My body is tired and my mind is stressed, worried over what could happen to JUNORU. No, I can't give up. My parents have published research about strange autopsy cases before it's shut. But there might be something related to these recent incidents. I searched through my parents' home office with hopes of finding any remotely related to case studies. After sorting through a few scientific journals my parents have published in, I come across a strange leather-bound volume so old that it has started to fall apart. My heart stops at the word country written on the first page. Looking at the date, I realize this is a diary written by my great-grandfather more than a century ago. He writes that he worked with the country family, but due to a vaguely detailed incident, everyone working on the project was fired. My great-great-grandfather went undercover to gather information about his former employees who became angry, even violent, towards the country family. Before he could finish his research, however, the family disappeared. Towards the back of the diary, my great-great-grandfather detailed his unnerving experience with a group of scientists who continued their work after being forced to leave the country family project. Most of the information surrounding the formulas and processing is so complex I struggle to understand it, but it is impossible to mismention the living dead and the effects of their experiments. Oh, is he caught? He also writes about scientists struggling to find a key ingredient contingent to the success of creating the artificial immortality. This was apparently a strong source of their bitterness directed at the country family. Every attempt to recreate the country family potion only result in failure. The side effects on the patients were dramatic, from deteriorating mental function, violent behaviors, vomiting, and the worst cases, organ failure. Just to manage the chaos in the labs, the scientists had to prepare a substance that would pacify their human test subjects. Though these substances initially only put subjects to sleep, my great-grandfather writes that there's a cure for the living dead was ultimately discovered. Though I cannot make out the technical details surrounding the multiple formulas for the post-cure, but mixture for sedating the living dead is surprisingly simple. I have many of the necessary ingredients at home. I should get the missing ingredient when I'm at when the store opens. The next day. It takes a few hours to set everything up and ensure that I'm recreating this recipe exactly as my great-great-grandfather wrote it. By the time I finished my first batch, the sun had been replaced by the moon. That went surprisingly well. There's no guarantee that it'll work until I test it on one of the living dead. I'm going out in the middle of the night without JUNORU would be way too dangerous. Suddenly a knocking on the door startles me. Who's there? Come on, Sky. It's Jace. Hurry up and open the door. Jace, what could the twins want now? The moment I started to open the door, Jace shoves it fully open and stumbles inside, nearly knocking me out on the floor in the process. Hey, that hurts! Sorry, it was an emergency. Jace closed the door and leans against it. His clothes has been torn in so many places. Hi, what's going on? The living dead is wreaking havoc out there. This was nearly the nearest place I could hide without causing any panic. You're using my house as a hiding place? Don't drag me into this. Don't worry. I shook the zombies off a few streets back. So they're only a few blocks away. Thanks a lot, Chase. I shoot a glare towards Chase before running through my house to make sure all the doors and windows are locked shut. Don't worry, you have me here. And I'm supposed to feel safe with someone who just ran away? I didn't run away because I couldn't handle them. Blaze told me not to kill them. Speaking of Blaze, where is he? He's out there trying to deal with them in his own way. I was acting as a bait to buy him some free time. Jace helped himself to the living room, takes a sudden interest in my small stack of newspaper by the couch. Oh great, I found a way to help you subdue the living dead. He flopped down on the couch, smiled at me curiously. Yeah, tell me about it. It's a bit of a long story, but I found out my great-great-grandfather was involved in the research focused on the living dead. I recreated the sedative they used. There's more to it as well. My great-great-grandfather has all these complex notes about how to make a cure he claims worked to eradicate the living dead. Must have been a real effective, given a crowd of them outside. You really think some old sedative might work? Well, we won't know unless we try. He tilts his head and takes a deep breath. Let's dive! Oh shit, okay, whatever. We're double serving. We have nothing to lose. I guess let's give it a shot. Good enough. Good. Let's go now. Eh? You told me that there's a strange light of group after you. Isn't this the best time? You go on the roof and try it out. Jason's hesitant to have me come along, but he lets me hold the bottle of sedative as we head out on the street. Where are they? Wait, you're going too fast. Slow down a little. I just heard something from over there. Hurry up, Sky. Jason runs towards the noise until we both catch sight of the lone soul walking in the middle of the street. He holds out a hand for my bottle. Give me that. As he tears the bandages off his fingers, the sort morph into a metal claw-like. He opens my potion and pours some of it into his claw, then charges it straight at the person shimmering down the street. His target does not even see him before he pierces through their back with his finger. Is that supposed to help? Aren't they supposed to drink it? Everything about Jason's movements are casual as he retracted his weapon, leaving the body crumpled to the ground. His attention goes to his claw, takes a cloth from his pocket and to wipe off the blood stain. It seems like your potion is working. Great. You look pale. Not a pretty sight, is it? That was kind of scary, yeah. He chuckles at my comment when he drags the body off the street and props it against a wall. I follow him to take a closer look at our handiwork. Can't say when he'll regain consciousness, but I think he should be fine. Jace, that wound. Heh, I was a bit aggressive, but that will heal in no time. Anyway, there's a whole lot more of these guys. Tell me you have more of this stuff. This was the proof version. I don't think testing it once is enough to go make more. When did I take orders from you? Would you rather slaughter people or get slaughtered? Jay stands up and checks the glass bottle I gave him. There's only half of it left. This area isn't safe. I need to go back for my brother and let him know about this. Will you make more of this stuff for us if I say please? Alright. Your house isn't far. You can make it There yourself, right? He pats me on the head before leaving me in a blink of an eye. I glanced at the unconscious man before I head home. I'm glad to have finally have something significant about calling the living dead around the village. Something feels off when I return home and step into the living room. Hurriedly, I turn on the lights and find Rumi standing near the couch. When did you? Oh shit. Rumi skips up to me with an unsettling smile. Her giggle is the last thing I hear before sharp pain makes me lose unconscious. Oh no! Up, Sky! Please, open your eyes. I feel so tired. Somehow my stomach hurts too. My head aches as I slowly open my eyes. Once I started to get a hold of my surroundings, I realized I've been tied up to this chair. I blink a couple of times and try to locate the voice. I'm shocked to see JUNORU standing the opposite of me, bound up the same way I am. Multiple bloody gashes have been cut through JUNORU's clothing, but the gold of his eye holds nothing but concerns for me. Before I can say anything, Izumi walks up to us. Her unusual cheerfulness has been warped into a something sinister as she smiles. You're finally awake. I'm confused. Why are we here? JUNORU lowers his head and lets out a sigh. Seeing you are the only person responsible for this, Izumi, perhaps you would care to explain. I appreciate you thinking of me, but I owe nothing. Crazy! She kidnapped us because we are in her way. I don't know what she plans to do yet. While I try to wrap my head around the situation, Izumi pulls up a chair and sits a few feet away from us. A smirk crosses her face as she enjoys our discomfort. You're just going to sit here and watch us? For now, I need you to stay put. Damn, the ropes are too tight. I can't flood and escape with JUNORU while she's still watching. JUNORU can use the magic. Never mind, Izumi. There are other important things I need to tell JUNORU anyway. Just Blaze and Jake has plans to take your life. They mentioned that your presence is causing the living dead to go out of control. Blaze hasn't made his mind up yet, but this rate is only a matter of time before they come for you. I may have found something that'll stop them, though. My great-great-grandfather studied a group of scientists who used the powerful sedatives on the living dead. They even found a cure, though I couldn't decipher what the formula by myself. JUNORU offers me a bittersweet smile, though it quickly fades. I wish the cure was so simple. I have looked into the work of those who followed after my parents and have seen the unfortunate results for myself. The cure they developed merely rendered the disease and hurt. Though it remained alive in the host, it ceased to invasive progression and appears to have been eradicated to those unwilling to look further. To make matters worse, the disease was readily carried from mother to child. Though still inherent, the process created new generations with even higher concentration of disease cells, which means our generation? Yes, your generation is rife with bodies that have higher concentrations of these cells than ever before. You can easily distinguish them from others. The immortality potion I consumed way many years ago is what they instantly crave, as I told you before. It offers the possibility of wholeness and the end to their pain without the release of death. I still lack the knowledge to create it. My father truly did take the secret to his grave. Even so, never mind all that. Tell me, JUNORU. I feel sorry for every victim the disease has claimed. I do not want to give up. I want to find other solutions because I can. His gaze looked so warm as he looked at me, the former standard of them full of hope. Without him saying it, I know why he wants to help the village. Because of you, I had no idea he felt this way deeply. Now, didn't she liked him? She's sort of like, no. Despite everything that's happening, I feel so happy. It's hopeless. Both of you need to stop looking for solutions. I have plans for the infected, so stay put. Your student like us, haven't the village suffered enough? Rizumi stands up, rose petals swirling at after her movements as she makes strange gestures with her hands. Her whole outfit transforms into something else. Magnificent wings sprout from her back, and she spreads them widely for a moment as if to stretch them. I'm shocked by this transformation, but I can only stare as she approaches me and rests an arm on my chair. The two of you are so boring. I know what would spice things up. Say, what would have happened if you never met Sky? We can't rewind the past, but we can certainly have control over the future. Rizumi grins as she glanced back at JUNORU. You always seem so composed. Boring. I want to see more of your colors. No, Rizumi. Rizumi rests something heavy on my shoulder. When I glance back past her and see JUNORU stiffen, I instantly freezes up. The weight shifts towards my neck. Something cold touches my skin. Oh, knife! Warning, warning, knife! Suddenly, Rizumi draws back. Something metallic clatters on the floor. As last, I realize the item that she held was some sort of cane. When I shift my gaze back to JUNORU, he's no longer in his seat. Rizumi is soon dragged all the way back to the wall, and her hands pinned in place by some invisible force. JUNORU places himself between us, and I realize he must be using his telekinetic gift. Rizumi calmly frees herself and smirks. The tension between JUNORU and her is so strong, I am certain a fight is inevitable. Oh shit, no! I should not, because if I do, then I'll die. And he'll be like, no, my love. Getting between them seems like a bad idea. I should focus on my own escape first. The cane Rizumi dropped is next to my foot. If I remember correctly, it seems to have a sharp edge somewhere. Carefully, I try to tip the chair over. I follow my side slowly. I inch to the cane until I can get my hands on it. With a bit of luck, I manage to cut the rope and free myself. I turn my attention back to the confrontation. Rizumi already has JUNORU pinned to the floor. Objects fly around Rizumi, targeting her with a pinpoint accuracy. She shields herself within her large wings, Guy, I can handle her. Please escape while you hand. But, Guy, please. Even though the urge to stay with him is strong, I do as he says. I look back at the exit, look for the exit and take the cane with me. When I grab the doorknob, I realize it's locked. I turn to see Razumi grinning widely at me. Let me tell you where the key is. She points at me, gazes directly at my stomach. My eyes widen, and when I realize what she's implying, just thought of something interesting. Let's play a game. Razumi bends closer to JUNORU and whispers to him, I'm going to regret this once everything is over. Nothing personal, okay? There's a suddenly sickening crack as Razumi gets a hold of JUNORU's neck as it sharply twists it. JUNORU does not even have time to react, instantly going limp against the floor. Slowly, Razumi thinks that it has to be decapitated. He's not gonna die. His head's gonna be like all cracked and like, hello, I'm awake. What the fuck? Slowly, Razumi stands up and reaches her cane. Well, looks like your other chance at escape is gone. No, that can't be. I sink down to my knees as I watch JUNORU's lifeless body. Tears well up in my eyes as I grieve. As grief overwhelms me, I no longer care about what happens. Oh shit! I saw it coming. There's no saw, dude. Load. I need to stop him. Because he said he has to be decapitated. Not like neck crack. JUNORU, don't listen to her. We should focus on escaping. He nods and rushes over to untie me. He's telling us goodbye time. I am sorry, I'm not right here. He's telling these kids buys us more extra time by sending Razumi came flying across the room. JUNORU pulls me free as Razumi blasts a strange glowing substance towards us. I manage to shove us both out of the way. It still grazes my leg. A terrible burning sensation follows the impact as I shove a fist into my mouth to stop myself from screaming as my leg gives out under me. JUNORU scoops me up in his arm in an instant and rushes towards the exit. His tongue screams burst the door open before we even reach it. As we pass through the exit, I glance back and the last thing I see is Razumi's wicked smile. I cling to JUNORU's chest as he runs through the night. I have no idea where we were headed, as my mind is distracted from the event. Despite how fast he moves, I hear no heartbeat. With the blush, I realize this is the first time I have been so close enough to notice. Though I do not know how much time has passed, we seem to reach the mansion very quickly. JUNORU brings me to his room and carefully sets me down on the bed. He gently cradles the back of my leg with one hand while he looks over my wound. From what I can see, Razumi's blow inflicted more pain than harm. The epidermis is red and irritated, but I do not see any blisters, thank goodness. It only seems to be a first-degree burn. Ow, it still hurts. It should heal relatively quickly. Let me apply some salve for you. Guy, I deeply apologize for what you have gone through. I You're the one who had me worried sick. I found the main entrance open. One of the rooms splattered with blood, and more areas broken into pieces. And then you carried me all this way here, despite being injured yourself. Junoro stays quiet while I rant at him. Back there, you could have escaped by yourself, but you know that Rizumi is trying to provoke you. If I had kept my mouth shut, maybe she would have left us alone. No, forgive me, Sky. I already told you. Oh, the kissing you're like, how old? I realized his lips aren't on mine. He holds me by the waist in case I lose balance. Ha! His lips are cool and surprisingly soft. His hands at my waist support him as it's gentle. My heart nearly stops before I suddenly start to beat faster. When she draws back, the tender pressure of his kiss lingers. Junoro draws a handkerchief from his pocket and starts wiping my lips. Oh, what are you doing? Please excuse my indulgence. Junoro. I gently grasped his hand and looked straight into his eyes. Please don't think badly of yourself. I enjoyed the kiss. I also think we might be more than friends. We cannot be together. It may be hard, but this is hard. He stares at me, blushing, and I give his hand a soft squeeze before letting go. I should let you rest. Is there anything you need? Will you stay with me? Junoro stared at me wide-eyed and speechless for a moment as his composure slowly cracks. I cannot deny anything when you look at me like that. Be that as it may, I will only stay if you promise to close your eyes and get some rest. Seeing my disappointed face, Junoro leans in for a soft kiss on my forehead, and in the same moment, he gently pushes me down to lay on the bed. My heart skips a beat, and I do. He does not calm down even after I close my eyes. Junoro remains by my side, and as I start to doze off, the last thing I feel is him softly stroking my hair. The next day. When I wake up, my body feels rested. I inspect the burn on my legs, and it started looks better. It does not hurt unless I put pressure on it. I get out of bed and look through the drawer of the nearby end table for something to help me look presentable. I managed to find a comb and use it to fix my bed head. After this preparation, I head downstairs. Junoro is already up and is about the living room. He sips on some tea while reading from a large leather-bound album. As I approach, a delicious scent with the promise of breakfast tickles my nose. Morning, Jill. Good morning, Sky. How do you feel? A lot better. What about you? My wounds have healed quite nicely, thank you. After I take a seat, he gestures to a plate with silver cloche on the table. Once I opened it, I found some delicacies, rolled omelets, and jelly toast. Oh, this looks delicious! Thank you! While I eat, I peeked over at the album he is looking through. It is full of vintage newspaper clippings. When I catch the date of one of the articles, I realize it is over 100 years old. Why are you reading the news articles from so long ago? I found these in father's study some time ago, though it's prudent to preserve them. I always was curious about him. Besides history in general speaks to me. I guess they had more actual news than countless advertisements like nowadays. You know, I'm a lot more interested in the history because of you. General chuckles at my statement and shifts his gaze to me. About yesterday, there are a few things I would like to ask of you. Go ahead. You mentioned quite things about the twins and discovering a cure. Could you give me more details exactly what happened? I tell General more details about my research. In the time I spent testing the sedative with Chase, he nods as I speak and rubs his chin in thought. Suddenly I remembered the bottle that I picked up earlier when I was searching his mansion. I take it out of my pocket and handed it to him. This. Hey, General, what if we examine the contents and replicate it to cure the infected people? General lets out a sigh, his expression perplexed as he sets the bottle on the table. I wish it was that simple, but I'm still years away from understanding how my father created the formula. That being said, however, I have the antidote for quite some time. The problem lies obtaining the ingredient. They must be derived from samples of pure living dead specimens. It is difficult to find these pure specimens because they die within a short time frame. Once the samples are obtained, the antidote is made by injecting the disease on a host that can resist it. The antibody created by the host through this process are then extracted to form a cure. But where would we find someone who could resist the disease? As far as I'm aware, I am the best host in the option. Dun dun dun! Give up your life to save people! Despite technically being dead, for some parts of my body still function. The process will take a long time, but there are risks involved, but I'm more than prepared to save the villagers. Isn't that dangerous? My body can withstand it. I would not be here otherwise. Despite these words, I cannot help but worry. To think about so many are after your life makes me sad. Journal beams insolently at me. Where would I be if I stayed mirrored in the hatred of others? Moving forward is the most important thing. It means more than you know to have your support. Of course, I'll do everything that I can help. The sedative I made should at least buy some more time. Would you be so kind to bring formula for it when you have the chance? I would like to see what similarities it shares with the research I already have done. At any rate, the production of the antidote will take time. Your sedative may be the best tool for handling the living dead until the antidote is ready to use. Alright, I'll make more of it. General walks me home later in the day, and both of us are still concerned for one another's safety. What should I do if Razumi comes for us again? Ideally, you can stay at my place, but I understand the mansion is not as comfortable as your home. Another option is to stay guarded at a guarded place with a lot of people. I could always ask Leoji, I guess. General smiles briefly and gently pats my shoulder before taking his leave. A few days pass by and Leoji Just as Logie said, the school was temporarily closed for investigation. But hide what you have. Because they'll be like, oh, you're recreating something to be in your terrible experiments. You're killing people. The school was temporarily closed for investigation. The police have not interrogated me yet, but the RG assures me that it would not be necessary. While JUNORU works on the antidote at his mansion, I keep myself occupied with producing more sedatives. Ryoji and his father are constantly busy compiling information from the interrogation, so I handle going out to get the groceries. On my way back from the store, I see a familiar face. Rajumi! Oh, never mind. Hey, please, it's been a while. He does not even break a stride as he glanced at me. I picked up the pace to catch up with him. He does not want to talk to you. He's like, give it up. I assume Jason told you everything. Did you change your mind about going after JUNORU? We have yet to see. He's developing an antidote, but he needs samples of pure types of living dead. Fisherman that dies with a short amount of time. Do you think you can help us? He closes his eyes as he seems to think it over. No. Come on, Blaze. Don't be like Chain. He let out a sigh and pins his gaze at me. You know there are easier ways to end this, yet you pick methods that make things harder on everyone. What if you do kill him and it's still not doing what you want? Then you just killed someone for no reason. But fine, I'll go with you on this. For one condition. A date! I'm delighted, but his few last words gives me the chill. I'm sure he's to ask for something difficult. If one more innocent person dies as a result of the living dead outbreak, whether it's you or JUNORU, things will go our way. Naturally, I'll be no one's judge. So many sacrifices have been made. You don't want more of them, do you? No, I don't want to see any more people suffer. Alright, it's agreed then. Oh wait, that's supposed to be Blaze. Why does it say me? There's one more thing you should know. Oh no, mind, it's not. Ryumi nearly killed me and JUNORU in an effort to stop us from curing the living dead. She definitely had some sort of plan for them. Ryumi? Yes, Ryumi from school. Do you not know she's an angel? I do, but I don't keep track of everyone's goals. Jace won't like this. Oh? They aren't exactly good terms. Personal matters aside, I'll keep my guard up. After this conversation, we part ways. Once I enter my house, I notice there's no shoes at the entryway. Ryoji and his dad must not be home yet. I put the groceries down and start another batch of the living dead sedative. You're finally home. The strange voice makes me drop the saucepan I was holding. I turn around and face a particularly decayed woman in the middle of the room. I have no idea how I did not hear her come in. One of the living dead. I need to lead her out of this house if she's after me. I slowly move toward the door leading her outside. Before she can make another move, I run through it. The first thing that comes to mind is JUNORU's place. As I run, I occasionally turn to look behind me. As I expected, that person is following me. And I was clogged up. Once again, I find the main entrance of the mansion left ajar and my face goes pale as I soon think of what happened the last time it was left open. I find a body laying face down on the room floor. On the other side of the room, JUNORU has collapsed against the wall. He looks up to me when I call his name. Guys, do not go upstairs. I have trapped some of the living dead there. There's more coming. One of them chased me here. Up, JUNORU up. Thankfully, he has a few minor injuries. I assume he got them while fighting more of the living dead. We will need to use the antidote I made. I stored them away in the kitchen. They are in the cabinet drawer nearest to the door and are easily distinguished by their blue color. Could you get me some, please? I will keep an eye on any more living dead headed this way. I follow instructions and I quickly find what I need. When I return, I find JUNORU surrounded by multiple corpses. He looks like he's in a pinch, but using his power, he easily controls the crowd. I rush towards him to give him a helping hand. I kick a body behind JUNORU to the floor, and I look for a rope to bind it in place. JUNORU's eyes widen as he watches me. Once I am finished carrying his attacker, I attend to him. Are you okay? Thank you, Sky. I handed him the antidote I found. He started preparing the injection while I assist them. Together we examine and tend to the living dead. It takes a while until we finish. Suddenly the exhaustion kicks in. I haven't taken any breaks these past few days. I don't remember the last time I slept. I bring my hand to my head and close my eyes. Guy, please take a rest. Alright. JUNORU whispers comforting words and guides me to the couch. I feel a sensation run through my body as I lie down. This feels nice. I cannot thank you enough for what you have done. Now is your time to rest. I will get some blankets. You might be hungry as well. Okay. I cannot keep my eyes open. I wake up to the sound of JUNORU calling my name. JUNORU sits next to me with a bowl of soup. My vision is so blurry that I struggle to follow his movement. I think I'm gonna call it there. And we will see this later. Thank you guys for watching. Join my Discord. Exclamation point INFO. Oh, or exclamation point DISCORD. Sorry. Join the Discord. I will get it for the other people. Has it gone through? It's going and it's sent. So thank you guys for watching. I did not have my avatar up. Yikes. But thank you guys for watching. I'm gonna go. Bye.